Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about the secret to changing your life so the universe will respond. Because there's probably something that you're trying to achieve in this life, something that you're trying to manifest. It could be a certain amount of money, it could be success, it could be both of those things, it could be love. So in order for the universe to respond and to give you these things, you have to essentially change who you are and change your vibration and change how you feel, which basically means the same thing. All of those things mean the same thing. You are changing yourself, and the changing of yourself usually means a change of how you respond to the world, and that all comes from a change of feeling. So Neville Goddard talks about feeling is the secret. That's one of his books. And basically what that means is that you need to feel differently in order to attract the things that you want in this life. So how do we do this then? How can we live in the wish fulfilled? How can we live from the end? How can we feel a different way so that we manifest what we want to manifest? So it's a practice, okay? And that's a very important thing to know, that it's a practice, because it's very unlikely that you can change the way that you feel every day instantly, okay? Because more than likely you have been living a certain way for a long time, and you've been living on a certain vibration, and all that means is that you probably have a baseline mood, just a mood that you go back to every single day. So, and it's usually because there's triggers in your environment that can basically trigger these feelings, okay? In this sense of and that's who you are essentially, right? These feelings. So you got to think about, okay, so how do I feel when I wake up in the morning? Okay, and usually if you're on a lower vibration, perhaps you don't really feel that excited to start the day. Perhaps you're still really tired and you wish you could go back to bed, but you can't. And that's the feeling, let's say, that you have every single morning. Well, in order to change your life and to attract the things that you want in this life, you got to think of, okay, so how would I feel in the morning if everything that I wanted in this life had manifested? If I had manifested the money, if I had manifested the job, the career, the business success, if I had attracted the love, how would I feel in the morning if everything that I wanted had come true and I'm now living that life? And more than likely, you would wake up feeling pretty good. You would wake up feeling quite content. Maybe there'll be a sense of ease, a sense of satisfaction. And basically, those are the feelings that you now need to install and begin to practice feeling when you wake up in the morning. And then you do that, and you think of, okay, so how do I feel when I'm having breakfast, when I'm going for my morning cup of coffee? How am I feeling during that time of the day? How am I feeling during that segment of my day? And you got to think of, okay, so how do I usually feel? And perhaps you feel a bit of frustration, perhaps you feel a bit rushed because you're trying to get to work, or perhaps you're feeling a bit negative because of, you've been watching the news, and perhaps you're complaining about a certain politician or something to them. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, but how do we respond right in the morning during that segment, during our morning routine? When you're getting ready to do the things that you've got to do during the day. And perhaps you feel some of those emotions. Maybe you don't, but maybe you do. And you got to think, okay, so how would I feel during that segment of my day if everything that I had wanted to manifest had been manifested? If I was living my dream life, if I had attracted the love that I want, if I had attracted the money, how would I be feeling? And again, it all goes back to these feelings of perhaps you'd be feeling quite at ease, perhaps you'd be feeling quite satisfied, you'd be feeling generally pretty good. You'd be vibing, you'd be having a good time. So it all goes back to those feelings. And so those are and you can go through your whole day and think of, okay, so how do I act during this time of my day? How do I act at this part of my day? How do I act in the evening? How do I act when I'm having dinner? How do I feel during these times? How do I feel before I'm going to bed? And you got to think, okay, so how would I feel in these segments if everything that I wanted in my life was in my hands, if I have everything? And again, it all goes back to these feelings of feeling pretty good. So the feeling is the secret, and the secret is to practice feeling that way whenever you remember to. But again, it is a practice, because we live in a world where we have to deal with other people, where we have to deal with certain financial circumstances, have to deal with, life events, things happening to other people that we care about, if someone we love gets sick or something like that. So it's very hard then because we're living in reaction and we're reacting all the time to these things, it can be difficult sometimes to keep a high vibration going. But it is possible if you practice it. So the important thing to remember is to not beat yourself up and live in guilt, basically, when you forget to live this way, when you forget to feel good, when you forget to feel at ease, when you forget to bask in the greatness of life. And that's what you really need to be focusing on. I can't blame myself for forgetting to remember to practice this, because it's a practice. You are essentially coming into this as a novice, because perhaps you've been living in reaction your whole life and you let outside of circumstances affect your mood. I'm not saying that is you, but it's possible that things affect you. So for example, if someone called you up and said to you that they were ill and it's someone that you really care about, you would react negatively to that. You wouldn't feel very good about that because it's someone you care about. So obviously it's okay to be experiencing negative emotion, as long as you remember to go back to feeling more better and feeling more positive about life and feeling more at ease. And it's all about just accumulating and knowing and practicing how it would feel if everything that you wanted had manifested. And that's where you've got to always keep on coming back to, and not give yourself any blame, not feel bad about yourself whenever you revert back to your old state, because you've got to remember that you're just a novice and you're still practicing this. Okay? Now, you got to think about the emotions that you would feel. You got to think about how it would feel. Now, usually when I'm thinking about, if I'm trying to manifest something, how it would feel, okay, it usually goes back to this general feeling of just feeling good and feeling like everything's working out for me, feeling like there's a sense of ease going on, or satisfaction, or pleasant emotions. And what I then do is I bask in it. Okay. So once you've got to that point where you feel really good, bask in it, take your time. It could be simple things as like when you're having a shower, like really feeling the soap when you're washing your hair, and it's the same when you're washing your hands, just take a moment to just take it in and just soak it up, just soak up the good feelings. And when you find that good feeling, to just, again, like bask in it and just keep on trying to keep that feeling going throughout your day. And it all comes down to this sense of feeling pretty good and being aware then and becoming really in tune with your emotions and knowing when you're off the path. And how do you know that you're off the path to manifesting the things that you want in this life? How do you know that? Well, you'll feel not good. You'll be thinking negatively and you'll be feeling bad. So whenever you're feeling negatively or you're not feeling good in terms of your emotions, that's how you know. That's how you know that you're off your path. So your job then is only to get into a state of being that feels a lot better. And that's all you need to do. You just got to go back to feeling at ease, satisfied. Perhaps you're imagining how nice it would be to have all the things that you want in this life. Perhaps you're just basking in the appreciation of nature. That's one of the things that I do. Like, I really love my garden. I love it. I think it's beautiful. And whenever I look outside and I'm just looking outside of my garden, or if I go into it, especially on a really nice day like today, then I just feel so much better. I just feel good and I just feel satisfaction whenever I look at my garden. And it's all about finding things that put you in that good mood, that put you in on that high vibration. I also sense that feeling when I'm with my family, when I'm with my child. It's just a really nice, lovely feeling. And when I really bask in those emotions, I end up having a really brilliant day. And I notice the things that I want to manifest, whatever they may be, start to come into my life and start to sort of like slip through the gaps of reality and start happening. So for example, today I was like, well, I woke up with an intention, and my intention was that I just really wanted to have a wonderful day with my family and to just enjoy being together, even though at the moment we've kind of got colds, so we're not feeling 100%. But that was my intention. I just wanted a wonderful day. And so far, it's been a really wonderful day, a really enjoyable, lovely day. So it's perfect. It's all working out. It's all good. It's all fine. It's all amazing. It's all brilliant. And things are working out perfectly. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. remember to feel good things and to get yourself on a higher vibration. And I promise you, the things that you want in this life, the things that you put your attention on, will start to come into your life with ease. And perhaps it won't happen fast, but you'll start noticing the signs. Just put yourself in a good mood each time you wake up. Try to maintain that mood throughout the day. Remember that it's just a practice, so don't blame yourself if you happen to fall off the path. But I promise you that things will start to feel better, and you'll start to have better experiences in this life, and you'll start to see things starting to work out for you, starting to manifest, starting to come in, if you feel good and you put yourself in a good mood and you put yourself into a good intention. Like, I'm going to see wonderful things happen today. I'm going to feel good. And even if the things I don't manifest today, I'm still going to feel good no matter what. And that really is the secret, right? That is the feeling is the secret. That's what Neville Goddard is really trying to say to us in that book, to get yourself into that state where you feel really content and happy and satisfied, and the things that you want will just start to come into your life. But you can't be focused and keeping score on what is coming in, because the moment you do that, you're going to be feeling pretty bad. You're like, well, I felt good all day and nothing happened. Now I feel awful. Can you see how that goes back? Can you see how that goes back on what these teachings are all about? If you're keeping score and you're feeling bad that things haven't manifested very fast, you're going to be feeling bad. You're going to be feeling negative. And if you're feeling bad and you're feeling negative, the things aren't going to come in. So you just got to not try and keep score and just feel good for the sake of just feeling good. And then you'll see that the universe starts to respond, and your life will start to change because you're feeling better. You're in a better mood, and you're on a higher vibration. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.